unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Boxingego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. We unpack, coming to you live. Now, as you guys can see, Errol Spence Jr., hey, stop that cap. He's looking in shape. Ego Weight Watchers, aka EW. Why give you a look into the fighter lifestyle before, after, and progress pics, especially when they have an upcoming fight. Now, y'all know what it is. If you follow boxing, if you follow my channel, you definitely know what it is. July 29th, we're going to get fireworks 2 times this month. We had them on the 4th of July, and I firmly believe we're going to get them again July 29th. Great fight, undisputed fight, and you see the man, Errol Spence Jr., is in shape. Now, the reason this is very pertinent and pretty important is the mere fact that you had a lot of the PBC haters, the Al Heyman haters, the people who hate black fighters, the people who hate Errol Spence. There were recent pictures that popped up on social media, and they said that Errol Spence Jr. was out of shape. They said that Errol Spence Jr. was fat, and that Errol Spence Jr. was having a fat camp. I was on the virtual press conference, which was yesterday, and you can see in his face, I mean, look, just look right here. Look, the man is 6-packed up, 12-pack or whatever that was, and he looks like he's taking it serious and ready to go. The other reason this is important, on top of the haters, which we'll get back to, is Errol Spence has been at the weight longer. A lot of people keep, saying, oh, but Crawford, he moved up multiple weight classes. So the fact that Errol Spence Jr. has campaigned at this weight for so long, he's having to make more of a sacrifice, because unlike Crawford, who had to move up, and then now he's like acclimating to the weight. You see Crawford's body type starting to look a bit more full and filled out. Errol Spence is having to maintain this weight probably since the amateurs or something close to it. He probably was like 150 or so in the amateurs. So that's pretty hard to do, definitely pretty hard to do. Just imagine whatever you weighed in high school and then maintaining that weight for 10, 11, 12 years. That's what these fighters go through. So I'm very satisfied as a boxing fan with what I'm seeing right here. The discipline, the dedication. And the other thing is, Errol Spence Jr., particularly, he, by his own admission, has admitted on several podcasts in the past that he wasn't always managing his weight. So it was almost like the accident where his car flipped was a blessing in disguise, because it didn't claim his life, and it was an ultimate reality check that there's probably some changes that are needed. Errol Spence said in past interviews and podcasts that he was partying, he was going out, those types of things. And more importantly for his career, he stated that for recent fights, some of his more recent fights, since he's had the inactivity with the detached retina, with the car accident, etc., fights like Sean Porter, fights like Mikey Garcia. One was a unification, Sean Porter, and then the other was a fight with Mikey Garcia, who was undefeated. So at the time, these are big, important fights for Errol Spence. And Errol Spence admitted that he had ballooned up in weight to 180 to 190 pounds. That's what he said to Steven Jackson on All the Smoke podcast, right? So to see Errol Spence prove all the haters wrong and just mature as a fighter, and he's entering the biggest fight of his career, most people would say, in this type of shape, that's definitely commendable. Now, let me spend a little bit more time talking about the naysayers and the haters. I've been doing this, again, often imitated but never duplicated. I see everybody wants to do Weight Watchers. I've been doing it since YouTube boxing began, and some people running with it. But I really take a look at the fighters just to see, and it's really apparent to me that most don't know about boxing. That's word to Roger Mayweather. You had people calling Errol Spence fat, saying he was super out of shape. I seen comments saying that Errol Spence Jr. was going to miss weight and Terence Crawford was going to make weight. Now, I don't know if people truly believe this or if it was just hate, but whatever the case was or is, those people look extremely dumb right now. As you see this particular picture, and there's others of Errol Spence floating around, this particular picture with him and his son, I mean, it doesn't look like he's playing any games. It doesn't look like he cut any corners. On the All Access, you can see he hired a nutritionist, the dude Elliot, and he has a more professional team. So the thing that makes this dangerous, especially for a Crawford, is because guys like Errol Spence, if you listen to his story and put the pieces together, he was kicking ASS and he didn't even have an elite team behind him. And that's no disrespect. What I mean by elite team is he had Derek James. Okay, he's an elite trainer, but he said he wasn't renting houses. He wasn't doing stuff like that. He said he was, just training camp wherever, at home or whatever. And then now he's living like, like the Floyd Mayweathers, like Oscar De La Hoya used to go to Big Bear, and Shane Mosley's, and even Triple G. Hell no, guys, had Mox, big drama, it's guys punch. They used to go to Big Bear and different places like that to have their camps, to be away from the maddening crowd, away from distractions. Errol Spence also admitted that he didn't previously have a nutritionist. So to see him go from that and entering the fights with Porter and Mikey Garcia and possibly others, and his weight had ballooned up and fluctuated, to being more disciplined, is commendable. And you got to respect it. And again, all the haters that said, oh, he's fat and all that. I mean, most of the people who probably say he's fat, they took their shirt off. They don't look like this. I think it's fair to say that. You know what I mean? Pause. But they don't look like that. So it's just funny how we live in a society where people, sit behind a screen, an iPhone, an Android, whatever, and say these things like, oh, Errol's out of shape, and they're like 20% body fat, you know what I mean? And just blobs. And then they're, just like overly negative, I guess you could say. But all that Errol Spence's fat is dead. Like, and the other thing that many people don't understand, you have to understand, to cut weight is a science. And I keep stressing that on my channel. I think I'm the best person that does this that isn't a boxer, by trait, on YouTube. And that's just humanizing the experience and letting people know, like, at the end of the day, making weight is a science. It's like, I've seen fighters get in scalding hot bathtubs, like where the water's almost boiling, trying to make weight. I've seen people throwing up in trash cans or pooping, wearing sauna suits all day, and it's in Vegas during the summer. I've seen it all in this sport. It's really a science. That's why you have to have a good team and you have to know what you're doing, because dropping too much weight too quick, peaking too quick, all these different things, these miscalculations could cost you the fight. Errol Spence is undefeated, could cost you your record, things of that sort. And what do I mean by peaking? Errol Spence is now peaking. Now you're starting to see the shreds. Now you're starting to see the definition and, how vascular he is, and striations and these types of things. You don't want to peak too quick. You don't want to basically like do too much in the gym to the point where you arrive well before the time of the actual fight because you're ahead of schedule. And I know it might sound counterproductive, like, oh, shouldn't you be like ahead of schedule? But it doesn't work like that in boxing because most of these boxers are campaigning at a weight class and they have to do a weight cut. There's only the Pacquiaos and most of the fighters from yesteryear. There's not that many people that their walk around weight is what they fight at. You know, B-Hop kind of did it, Floyd, Pacquiao, but most of these newer fighters, sub 35, they're definitely not on that. And their walk around weight is something much, much higher. And this is why I try to inform you guys and the public on these unpacks. But you don't want to arrive too soon. You don't want to peak too soon because you being ahead of schedule and cutting too much weight, it might not be good. And you have to, the other thing is you have to hold the weight. So if Errol Spence is cutting weight and he's way ahead of schedule and he has to hold and maintain this weight and not let it fluctuate too long, and then he got a couple weeks out. But to see these pictures, he's gradually tapering down, and then come fight week, he'll be at a certain weight and then he'll have a little bit to go, which is very impressive, again, considering how long Man Down, Free Smoke Jr. has been at the weight class. Guys like Lamont Peterson, he stayed at 140 for so long, and I was wondering, I was like, man, he still hasn't moved up to welterweight, and you could see it in his later fights. He started looking big, like real big for the weight class, and I would love to be a fly on the wall and see what the experience was like for a guy like Lamont Peterson making weight in some of those later fights. Even when he fought Danny Garcia, that's why he fought him at a catch weight, because Danny was looking to move up, and then, you know, it worked out for Lamont Peterson, and he probably liked it. He probably liked fighting at, I think it was at 143, right? He probably liked that better than 140, and then shortly after he moved up, ended up fighting Errol Spence, ended up fighting Sergey Lipinets, things like that. So Errol Spence, he's looking sharp, he's looking good, and he's looking like he's coming down. And I wanted to make this video really just to rub it in and update all the fans that said he's fat. I mean, you see Frank Martin, he's fighting this weekend. He looked brolic. Errol Spence look in shape, and it looks like he's tapering down very nicely. And come fight week, I fully expect him to make weight. He's a consummate professional. He even really said this on the virtual press conference. He said, I've always made weight. I always make my weight. So even when he was having fat camp, see, there's a lot of people in boxing, they just don't know boxing. And I feel partly to blame because I know I helped pioneer and popularize boxing in the digital space and made people want to talk about boxing. But you got to be careful where you get your information. I know a lot of people, they want to copy the ego Weight Watchers and stuff like that, but they don't know what they're talking about. You know, people saying he's having a fat camp. I mean, does it look like he left off Bad and Bougie? I mean, does it look like a fat camp? I mean, even the trainer's in shape. Derek James. If you look at Derek James's physique, and it's good to have motivation like your counterparts, Frank Martin, Jermel's training for a big fight. Anthony Joshua's a gym rat. Ryan Garcia just entered Dallas, and he's part of the squad. So I'm liking what I'm seeing. A lot of people who was praying that Errol Spence would miss weight and all this weird stuff. You can't really be a boxing fan. I don't even understand why you would want that. Even if you're rooting for Crawford or you think he wins, why would you want to mess it up for boxing? I want Crawford to make weight, and I want Errol Spence to make weight because, of course, I'm a true boxing fan. I need to see this fight. Boxing needs to see this fight so we get a conclusion and undisputed. Let me know how I did in this video, Ego Weight Watchers. I just had to update you guys because Errol Spence just dropped these pictures, new leaked pictures with his son. He's on the track. He's coming down nicely from his weight, drinking his water, staying hydrated. And he also said he's going to finish his camp in Las Vegas, which I also think is real smart. He has Frank Martin's fight this weekend. I'll definitely be tapped in with that on Showtime. Main event, he's fighting Olympian. That's a Man Down Promotions fighter. And that being said, he decided to not bounce back and forth, which I think is smart. You're going to be fighting Crawford in a matter of weeks in Vegas. Might as well learn the local gyms, learn the climate, acclimate to your room, acclimate. He's from DeSoto, Dallas area. So there's a time zone difference being in the West Coast, right? So there's a 2-hour time difference. Acclimate to the time zone. Very smart play for Errol Spence to just acclimate to the humidity, the particular weather. I know Texas is very hot, but Vegas is a desert as well. So it could be hot with different type of weather, different humidity, you know, these types of things. So I think that's a smart play. Errol Spence is in monster shape. More videos coming soon, July 29th. Obviously, it's Judgment Day. Ego Weight Watchers / Unpacked. We unpacked. Introducing Super Thanks. Right here on the official Boxingego YouTube. Super Thanks allows you, the viewers, to show a little bit of extra gratitude, which enables me as a full-time content creator to push out the content you need in the world of boxing. Underneath all the videos, you will see a heart with a $sign in it. You can enter any amount that you find suitable as a super thanks. A brand new, interactive, and colorful way to get your comments highlighted and noticed by not only myself, but other people on the YouTube platform. Super thanks, a unique and cool way to show and applaud us full-time content creators. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content. Super thanks. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We working.